Hey everyone, I am filming a video with my phone and I will upload it directly after without editing it because I don't have time to film and edit videos with my camera and the computer because we are so busy with everything with the move, preparing the move, and I will try to talk about that a little more in the upcoming weeks. But for now, I don't really have time to film the cleaning videos and to edit talk videos, so I wanted to check in, just post anything, to let you know that we're all right. We're just extremely busy with the move. So today I thought I will film a video about sleep training because that is a topic that I wanted to film a video about, and yeah, I just wanted to let you know how we're doing in that regard. So if you're interested in sleep training, yeah, watch the video. If you're not interested, you probably didn't click the video. I think most people here are subscribed for my cleaning videos, which is fine, of course. But I also like to film and talk about other things, and I know part of the audience here likes that as well, to know a little bit about our more personal lives. And if you're new, I am Lucinda, and I do post a lot of cleaning videos normally. So I try to always do that on Monday and then another video on Thursday, which is usually a bit more personal. But yeah, like I said, we bought a house, and that's why I'm off my normal filming and uploading schedule. So I will try to film a couple more videos like this during the month of December, so we can stay in touch and let me know what kind of videos you would like, if you would just like chit chat videos or certain topics that I can cover. But today, sleep training. Now, maybe you do remember, if you're here for quite a while, that we sleep trained Victor when he was 18 months. And now we have our second child, Vera, and she is 15 months now. And I wanted to sleep train her a little bit early, or I mean earlier than I did with Victor, because it's really tough to always nurse her to sleep. And I think it's really tough that she's always dependent on me to nurse her to sleep, because that's what I did. I always nursed her to sleep from the day she was born. For every nap and every time she wakes up in the night, I nurse her, I breastfeed her, and then she falls back to sleep again. In the beginning, when she was a couple weeks, couple months old, sometimes she fell asleep on her own, but that disappeared after a while. Also, I think because she got used to me always nursing her. And I did that intentionally because I don't want her to cry. Every time she cries, I pick her up. And she usually wanted to nurse, and I breastfeed on demand. And just because I think that's when babies thrive, when you don't let them cry, when you hold them in your arms close to your heart and let them breastfeed or nurse as much as they want. I just think it's healthy for them and good for the soul in more ways than we can imagine. So that's what I did, that's what I do. I know it's a little bit controversial and people have strong opinions about it. I guess I have a strong opinion about it too. And that's why in real life I try not to talk about it too much, because every mom has to decide for herself what she wants in that regard. And I have friends who approach it very differently or similar. So I have friends who let their baby cry it out from the first weeks of their life, and also friends who breastfeed their babies to sleep until they are like 2 or 3 years old. So I guess I'm a little bit in between those two. For sleep training, so yeah, I sleep trained Victor when he was 18 months, and I didn't really want to wait that long with Vera. So I thought maybe I can sleep train her when she is 6 months or 9 months, because I think that's about the earliest you can start. 6 to 9 months, when they have developed a little bit and they, I guess, can imagine when they're not with you, or let me explain that a little bit. So you have different sleep training methods, and I was thinking about the methods where you come into the room every few minutes to comfort them and then leave, and so on and so forth. Although in the beginning I do stay with them in the first phase of sleep training. But when you come into that stage in which you can leave them in the room for a few minutes before you come back, when they're a little bit older, I guess they can think about you in more of a way that they can imagine you in a way that it comforts them. And I think a very small baby can do that. It still has to build that basic trust that you are there for them. And when they're 6 to 9 months, I guess they already have that, at least the basics. So yeah, and when Vera was 6 months, I thought she was still way too young. It didn't feel right, so I waited. And then when she was 9 months, it's kind of, I thought about sleep training, but at the same time I thought, I've been doing this nursing her to sleep for so long, I can do it for a few more months. So I think I continued nursing her to sleep then. And I have to think back when the first time was I sleep trained her, but I do think it was 13 months. Shortly after a year. Yeah. So by that time, I thought she is really old enough now, at least in my opinion, and it did feel okay. I still had a little bit of that mom guilt because you never want your baby to cry. It hurts your heart or so, I guess. It's hard to hear your child cry. But yeah, I did want to sleep train because the way it was going, it was so hard on me, and I just couldn't take it anymore. Always be the one that had to put her to sleep. Sometimes my husband did that by walking around through the house with her in the baby carrier, but sometimes he succeeded and sometimes she just wouldn't have it, and then I had to nurse her to sleep after all, or anyway. So yeah, sleep training at 13 months. Let me think, what was the first thing that I did? With Victor, I wrote everything down, but that's always something you do way less with your second child. Less photos, less writing, because, you have your hands full, of course. So with Vera, I began sleep training her in the baby's room, so she always slept in our bed. And with Victor, I started sleep training him there, but with Vera, I started directly in the baby's room. So I put her in the crib in the seat of our stroller because she is used to sleeping in the stroller. She did that sometimes. And I would sit next to her bed, and so she could see me and knew that I was there for her. And then I would wait for her to fall asleep, and she got really upset. Of course, she didn't like it because she was used to being breastfed to sleep, and she got really upset and really mad at me because I thought, well, I can hold her hand and maybe that is comforting to her. But she didn't want that at all. She was really mad at me. And that was the same with Victor, I remember. When I sleep trained him, he was just mad at me. And he didn't want to hold my hands. And I couldn't touch him, pet his back or anything to comfort him. So it was the same with her, but I just sat next to her bed. I'm sorry if my phone is shaky. I was trying to hold it in one place. But I sat next to her bed until she fell asleep. It took quite long, of course, because it was new to her, and she did fight it. So I guess I could sit there next to her bed for 30 minutes or an hour and a half. I don't think that happened very often, but it took some time. But then she would fall asleep, so that felt like progress. And it continued like that for, I guess, a week or a few weeks, I don't remember exactly. And after a while I decided it was time for the second step, and I used the method with the time intervals. So I would put her in the crib and tell her that it was time to sleep after the sleep training, sleep rituals. You know, I would nurse her before that, but I wouldn't nurse her to sleep. And then I would comfort her a little bit, put her in bed, and then I would go out of the room, and then I would come back after 1 minute. So I don't know what this method is called in English, but in Dutch you have a book called Slaap Kindje Slaap. And I will... No, I think I already packed the book into one of the boxes for the move, so I can't look it up. Maybe I will Google it if I think about it, if I think of it in time before I upload the video. But in that book, it's the idea of the method is that you go in after 1 minute for like 5 times when they continue crying, and then you always say the same sentence. So like, it's time to sleep, good night, mommy is near you, it's all good, or whatever you choose to say. Then you leave. When the baby cries, you go back into the room and you repeat the same words. You go out of the room, and then you use a 3 minute time interval. So you go in every 3 minutes, you do that for 5 times, then you go to 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 12 minutes. And I guess 12 minutes is the longest that you stay out of the room. And every time you say the words, you stay very calm. I guess that is also key. You have to stay very calm. They have to get the feeling from you that it is okay to fall asleep like this, that they are safe, that everything is good. And you have to be very consistent about it. So that's, I don't know, I didn't feel like it was going great. She would fight her sleep for very long, and after I did that for a few days, it got a little bit better. But then she got into those one of those wonder weeks, and there was a tooth coming through the gums, you know. So I did stop the sleep training then, because you shouldn't do that in a wonder week or when they have physical discomfort, I guess. Discomfort, yeah. And to be honest, I was also a little bit discouraged because of all the crying. It was just those things combined. Because if you really want to use that method, the crying is part of it, and you have to be very consistent. And then after like 3 days, the baby will learn how to fall asleep on their own, and there will be less and less drama. But yeah, so I stopped then, and yeah, I guess I went back to nursing her to sleep. And then I really regretted even starting sleep training, because yeah, what did I even fight for, you know? But I began to feel like maybe she's not ready, or and also thinking, well, I'm going to start soon again, as soon as she gets out of the Wonder Week. But yeah, you know, also the move was coming soon with a lot of changes, and that is one thing as well. You shouldn't do sleep training when there are big life changes going on. So then my plan was to start again after we had moved and we were settled in and she was used to the new house. So yeah, then after a while, my husband was getting the kids ready for bed because I had the night off. We tried to give each other the night off. So one night Daniel can go out or just relax, and then I will take care of the kids, put them to bed, and we try to, you know, and vice versa. So that night it was his turn to look after the kids, and he always tries to do that for whatever time Vera allows it, because if she gets really upset and don't want to go to sleep in the carrier with him, I will nurse her and get her to sleep, you know. But that night he asked her to stay in the bed with him and Victor because they were reading a book together, and he was like, do you want to sleep here as well? And then she laid down on the pillow with them and wanted to be under the blanket and everything. So it seemed like she understood the situation, and she understands so much. By the way, she also talks a little bit. She says a lot of words, also the more difficult words like bell pepper, which is paprika in Dutch. Those random fun words that you wouldn't expect a 15-month-old to say. But she seems to be quite clever and understand things. Whenever you ask her something, she nods her head like yes or shakes no. But at night, miraculous. It was just, I was like, whoa, what, wait, what happened? The next day when my husband told me how she fell asleep. So yeah, after he said to her, do you want to sleep here? And she laid down, and Victor went to sleep as well. Yeah, they stayed in the bed. She fell asleep there with them. She cried for a little bit, he said, and she also asked for me, but I wasn't at home. I went to a store for a little bit, for like an hour or so. But then she accepted it, and she wanted to lay in between them. My husband on one side, Victor on the other side. So cute, right? And then she fell asleep. So I was so impressed by that, and also so relieved and happy. I felt like partying, celebrating, because it felt like the beginning of mom life that is a little bit easier. And when that happened, I thought we have to continue this. Even though the move is coming, she seems to be ready for this kind of sleep training, so we'll go with it. I'll take it. Because laying in bed with her and Victor and waiting for her to fall asleep is way more easy and more comfortable for me than to nurse her to sleep, and it's a step forward. So the nights after that, we had her in the bed as well. With Victor, when we put him to bed, she joined us, and so my husband or I were there with him. And she fell asleep. Sometimes it was a little bit more difficult than other nights. Sometimes she cried a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less. And I always make sure to nurse her before, not in the bed, but before she goes to bed. So at least she's not hungry or anything. Of course, she has a clean diaper and everything. Sorry. Let me have a sip of water here. And yeah, it's been going great. My mom also put her to bed like that. She sat on the bed with Vera and Victor and waited for them to fall asleep, and it happened. And she moves around, of course. Sometimes she just randomly talks. She says her favorite words, paprika, 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 which means bell pepper. Or she says mama, 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 opa, opa, oma, oma, whatever. But then after a while she falls asleep, and it's just amazing. I am so happy. Yeah, I'm really, really happy and relieved that it's beginning to get a little easier. Yeah, with her sleeping. She is almost 16 months now. So yeah, that is, I guess, the sleep training updates. I had to say it again. I didn't know if I said it correctly. I'm so tired. Honestly, I feel like I'm going crazy almost every day because there is so much that needs to be done. But it's alright. I just try to do whatever I can with the time that I have in a day, and that's all you can do, right? Now I'm not going to bed. I want to enjoy the freedom a little bit. My husband is asleep, the children are asleep, and yeah, I don't know. I can relax if I want to, or do a little bit of tasks for the move. That's always nice as well, to get a few things off my to-do lists. But yeah, I'll leave it at this. Thanks for watching. Fun to have you here. And yeah, again, please let me know what kind of videos you would like to see. That always helps me, because I can think of something, but I really want you to enjoy it as well, of course. And then I will try to film a few more videos this month with my phone. And of course, if I have time to edit a video, I will do that as well. But I really can't tell. We'll see. So yeah, I hope you are doing well. I really hope you guys are doing great. Take good care, and I will see you next time. Bye!